So next up is how to write the history paragraph. We are done with the date and address, and we are done with salutation and reference, and now we're going to the history paragraph. Okay, next. Okay, so you can see in this slide that after the content that I've explained you earlier, the purpose paragraph, the first paragraph, there is a paragraph in the slide, back one. That means there is slide after the content paragraph. Okay, so this after I'm referring, there is another paragraph of 2-3 lines that is actually a history paragraph. So history paragraph comprises of any past medical or surgical, family or social history that is specifically relevant to the diagnosis being formed at the end of the case notes. This thing is very important to note. For example, if you are referring a patient with uncontrolled asthma, you will not put that her grandmother died of heart attack or she had some road traffic accident for like last 2 years or in past 2 years back. Both of these history have no relation with the current diagnosis, that is asthma. So that is irrelevant and it can cost you marks in the letter. So next, I will look up to some examples to make it easy how to write a history paragraph. So next up the examples. Mr. XXX, who is actually a cancer patient, is married and has 3 children. He is a smoker and he drinks alcohol frequently or occasionally. It is worth mentioning that he is allergic to pethidine, penicillin, and radioactive contrast agents. Okay. So now what you have to do here is that you have to actually extract the information from the case notes and you have to put his history, past history, surgical, family, or anything that is relevant to the diagnosis. The next example here is Mr. XXX has been smoking for 4 years. Regarding his medical history, he's allergic to cats and he has a history of hay fever, or he's allergic to pollens. In addition, he suffers from eczema and he was admitted into the hospital 2 times. Now here you can see that if the patient is, you're covering his history, and this patient is actually now, you're talking about Mrs. Zizi, he's asthmatic. He has a history of eczema, that is relevant. He is allergic to cat, that is relevant. His sister is asthmatic because family history is really very important in asthma, so that is relevant as well. In these case notes, there was written that Mr. XX has had a femur fracture when he was 17 years old, and that is not relevant here, so you would not put it here. It would cost you marks if you will, and words as well. So next up is the body paragraphs. Okay, so here you can see in the letter, we are going forward, and after the history paragraph comes the body paragraphs. Body paragraphs depends, it could be 2, could be 3, but it depends that how much you have case notes and how much relevant case notes you have. That it's according to actually the information and the words you like to put in the body paragraph. So most of the referral letters will contain 3 body paragraphs, and each of the paragraphs should have the main idea, like which the writer needs to convey to the reader. In this type of letters, all the sentences with the paragraph must relate to its main idea. Not like if you are referring some letter of asthma and in the body paragraph, you're talking about some accident that happened in the past or in detail, that he visited you for any sort of adrenal crisis, you're writing about those. You have to be very relevant in the body paragraph as well. Talk about only the information that is relevant to the case notes and the current diagnosis. Okay. So next up, I'm going to explain actually that how the body paragraph goes, okay? Like how we actually write it. So here we have that sometimes you can write it thematically, and sometimes you can write it with the chronological order. So I always prefer the chronological order because it was actually very easy for the reader to understand that, okay, this patient came to the GP or to that person who is writing the letter on this date, and after this happened, and after this happened, and now when he's actually writing the date, like on today, this is his current situation, and this is what he's expecting from me. So I'm going to read this paragraph that I've written for you guys. In some situations, the clearest way to organize the letter is around time. You start at the beginning and continue up to the present, for example, like I told you. So the reader would be endocrinologist, and you are a GP, and you are referring Mrs. Sharma for her diabetic control. So you will start with the paragraph 1, like Mrs. Sharma initially presented on, or you can go like on 29/12/18, Mrs. Sharma presented initially with, and the second paragraph will be started at pathology report received on this, anything related to it. On the third paragraph, you'll go like on 12, or you can go like today. The third paragraph will be go like what's happening right now with you and patient, in between you and patient, what's her current diagnosis, what her current situation. And the first two paragraphs will cover her the past any presentations related to this diagnosis. So sometimes what happens that the case notes are pretty concise. So you don't have to put up 3 paragraphs. It's not necessary. You can put only 2 paragraphs if the case notes are concise, and if the you are not making up all, because you cannot make up the information. So next word will be conclusion. So you can see the conclusion after the 2 body paragraphs. We have the conclusion, just last lines. So conclusion is actually the last few sentences once you are done with the body paragraphs. It consists of your diagnosis, your demand for the and your demand for the recipient doctor. Also here you welcome any queries if it needed to be asked. So let's look at some examples in the next slide. So you will ask the doctor in the view of the above, my provisional diagnosis is asthma. Therefore, I'm referring him for your further assessment and possibly MRI imaging. Maybe you are sending her to a specialist, okay? And then you will write something like that, that any sort of queries, I welcome any sort of queries if needed to be asked. I mean, you can write up like, do not hesitate to ask me if anything you would like to understand about the patient. And you can start with the in the light of the above, and you can start with the in the view of the above. So conclusion is just the lines about your diagnosis and your actual demand for the recipient doctor. So next one is ending, the last part. Okay, so here's, I have outlined it. It's yours sincerely, Dr. Zara Taki, general practitioner, or doctor, whatever you will write your name in the examination. So here's the tip. If you're referring to a doctor whose name is not given in the writing task, like in the writing task, there is a task given, write a letter to the endocrinologist in the St. Joseph Hospital, USA. Okay. So, and the name of the doctor is not given, then you will write yours faithfully with a comma. Okay, and no capital letter. All letter, there is no capital. People think that we should have to write Y in the capital and F as in capital as well, but it's not like that. You have to write it just like this. You can write yours faithfully if referring doctor name is not given. If the referring doctor name is mentioned in the writing task, then you have to write yours sincerely. That's the only thing about the ending. And I think this is it for today. And I'm going to give it back to Zarmeen, and she needs to announce something.
Okay, so we have completed today's session. I hope that everything is clear to you and this is useful to you guys. We have we have arranged this session by referring to a lot of different case notes and a lot of different information out there already. So you don't have to waste time on reading all that information and figuring out what's gonna help you and what's not gonna help you. So that's why we have started this. With this session, we are sending out, Abdullah is actually going to send you guys some case notes. I have made a list of all the case notes that I have collected when I was preparing for my OET, and I have collected some recent ones as well, and we are going to send those out to you in series. first, with this session, I'm going to share 10 case notes with you. 5 of them you may or may not already have seen. 4 of them are from OET official site, and 1 of them is from the book that I shared with you people on the OET introductory post I made on the Facebook group. And the rest of the 5 case notes are new. So you are welcome to write any of the 2 letters from these case notes and send them back to us, and we will check them for you free of cost with this session. And if you want to get some more letters checked, you are welcome for that as well, and we will check it for you, and we will tell you about what will be the cost for that as well. And with that, with the case notes, Abdullah is also going to share a booklet, writing booklet for you. Try to print it out and practice the letter writing on those, so that you know in one line how many words are there. So you know how many lines to write in your letter when you are sitting in an examination. It's gonna help you figure out how many words you are writing in your letter. So we are also going to be sending you some link for our feedback survey. Kindly fill that out so we know what we need to improve. So I think that's all for today, and we can take some questions now. If you have any, write them down in the chat section. We're gonna wait 5 minutes. So the last part that we left out, the language part, which is actually almost have the same which actually has the same importance as the things we have discussed today. The language part, it contains the grammar and certain words that you have to use in your letter to gain good marks. We are going to have another session next week. We will put up a post on Facebook group about the date and time of that session. So I think we don't have any questions for today.
We have actually one.
Yes.
Okay, so Naira is asking that wanted to ask you about OAT test date. Is there any issue in getting the test date for OAT? So actually, right now in the pandemic situation as well, OAT are conducting their test, and also they have launched another option that is online OAT test. You can go to their site and learn about it. It's really very easy to book a test of OAT. And 2-3 tests per month are happening right now in Pakistan as well. And if they have if there would be some problem right now, it will be handled in the next 1 or 2 months. And I think there are pretty much a lot of seats available in Pakistan as well.
I think that answers the question. One thing more I would like to tell you is that when you are sending us letters to get checked, kindly, if you have handwritten them, kindly type them because it makes it much more easier for us to check and make a review on MS Word. Try not to use the grammar correction in the MS Word. Write it as it is that you have handwritten. Okay, I think we are going to...
Naira is also asking that apart from letter writing, is there something else in the writing part? No, they just letter writing in the OAT, the writing part. There is nothing else.
Okay, I think we are going to conclude our session today. I hope you guys fill out the survey and hope to see you in the next session as well. Goodbye, Allah Hafiz.